Okay, so we have one more property. Actually the property is for text, so you can see that we have some kind of text, so you can actually give it a color normally, so you can style those texts. But after this you can actually give them a lot different properties. For example, I have a p tag. Okay, I have a p tag here, and I'll just say that it has a class my p tag. Acha, one more thing, if you wanted to target this p tag which is available inside this class, what you can actually do is you can say that inside my div3 there is a p tag which I want to style. So you can style it like this, or you can also provide the specific class of this also. Okay, or you can provide the specific class of this also. So you can see both ways are actually great, whatever you can follow. But if there are multiple p tags which have separate classes, so this is always a great method when you want to target specifically. Okay, so same applies for id also. So right now I would just say that this is my p tag, right? So I want to style it. So first thing which I can do is, first of all, let me just remove everything from here. Okay, now I would say that my p tag would be, first of all, first property which we have already learned is the text color. So if I say text color is blue, so you can see this is the text color. Okay, so similar to this we have the text alignment also. So first of all, if I say that it has some background color, let me just check what is the background color. So I would just say my background color is red. So you can see it's taking the whole space. Okay, it's taking the whole space, and like for example, it's not right now taking the whole space, but you can see it's left side. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually say that text align property is a very great property. I would just say text align is center, so you can see now the text would be in center. Okay, so if I just increase the font size, then you would also see it in a better format. So if I say that the font size property would actually increase the font size, so if I say font size is 40 pixels, so you can see that how the font size would actually look. Okay, so you can see it looks really great. And now after this we have one more property named as text decoration. So right now you can see that you would be mostly using text decoration in a tags. For example, we have a tag here. So a tag is for, you know, that this is actually for some kind of reference. So you can see if I look into this a tag, you can see I got an underline. So this is by default decoration, but I want to remove this. So for that, what I can actually say is, for example, inside my div3 there was the a tag, so I can simply say that text decoration is actually none. Okay, so you can see text decoration is none. So you can see that the underline is gone. If I show you by increasing the font size, so you can see that the text decoration actually removes the line. So if I just make it normal, so you can see I can still see the underline. Okay, if I remove this, you can see it's gone. Okay, so this is a very great property. Suppose I want to give some more property to this only. Okay, so right now I'm just going to remove this background color. Okay, right now I would just say that, for example, the text decoration is what. So you can see I'm getting a lot of options here. You would also get the options if you are using VS Code. So if I make it dashed, so you can see that right now, guys, here itself I have given one more property, that is text decoration is line through, and you can see line through actually does something like this. So if we are using some kind of things, then definitely you can use it. Okay, so one more thing, that is one more property which is here is, right now I'll just comment this out. And one more property is text transform. Okay, suppose I want to convert everything into lowercase. Okay, so you can see everything is now converted into lowercase. Okay, so if I say I want to convert everything to uppercase, so you can see now everything is converted to uppercase. If I just want to capitalize the grammatical words, okay, so what you can actually do is you can provide a property named as capitalize. So you can see that it would actually capitalize every single word. Okay, every single word. So these are all the transformation property. Now one more property is actually the text spacing property. So if I just say that if I provide a property named as text intent. Okay, so text intent. Okay, so if I say that it's around 100 pixel, so you can see that the first spacing is 100 pixel. Okay, similar to this, if I provide one more property, that is word space. Okay, so word spacing, and if I just make it 50 pixels, so each word would be having this much space in between. Okay, now after this we have one more property, that is letter spacing. So if I want to give spacing to each letter, for example 30 pixel to each letter, so you can see separation would happen like this between each letter. Okay guys, so I hope you understood these text properties. Now we have one more property named as text shadow. So if I just say that we have a text shadow, so this simply means that I want to just give it a shadow. Okay, so for example, if I write text shadow as 2 pixels, so you can see I'm getting some kind of shadow. Okay, and if I just want to give it a color, shadow color, so I would just say that the shadow color is yellow. Okay, so you can see that the shadow color is yellow. Actually, I would actually make it somewhat dark color so that it would look properly. So you can see that the shadow is actually having some dark color. If I make it 5 and 5, so it would be visible. You can actually adjust it to maintain the angle. So you can see that's how the text shadow property works. Okay, so after this, guys, we are going to learn about one more thing. For example, I actually have a property named as font property. Okay, so if you want to design the font of any kind of CSS, so you can simply say font family. Okay, so font family is actually give to any font, so you can choose any font. If I say Cambria, so you can see it would take the Cambria font. So that's how you can actually give the font. Now guys, one more important property is here, which is named as display. Okay, so display property is very important. So right now I'm just going to say that we have one more. I'll just say that my division 3 is here. Okay, so you can actually see that the display property is very important, and it actually defines how the element would be displayed. Okay, so there are actually mostly two types of by default displays, block or inline. Okay, so if I give you an example of the p tag itself, okay, so you can see this is taking the whole space. Okay, so if I say that it only has, for easiest example, I would just say it only has one word. Okay, it only has one word. Now similar to this, if I talk about span tag, okay, span is a type of tag which is similar to p tag, but it's actually easier. Okay, so if I say that I'm talking about inline elements, that means it would be only taking the minimum space required. That means only one word space. But if I'm talking about block elements like p tag, there would be taking the whole space. Okay, similarly div is also a block element. Now let me just show you via design. So right now you can see that my div 3 would be taking the whole space, whatever space you give. But suppose, for example, my div 3 is a block level element. Similarly, the p tag inside this is also a block level element. If I say that this p tag is actually having the background color of red, so you can see it's taking the whole space. It's taking the whole space. Okay, so actually I want to remove this class. Okay, so you can see I'm talking about the p tag. It's taking the whole space. Okay, even if you haven't given any condition to this, but it's still taking the whole space. That means this is actually a you can say a block level element. Okay, but if I talk about the span tag, so again, if I say that inside my div 3 we have a span tag, so you can actually say that if I talk about the span tag, I can say that suppose the background color is again something else aqua, so you can see this would only take this much space. Okay, that means the minimum space, whatever is the minimum space required, it would take that space. Okay, and it would take the maximum space. Okay, so now I hope you understood the difference between inline and block elements. So we actually have a lot of properties here. If I say that I want to just convert this p tag from block to an inline element, how you can actually do? So you can simply say just convert the display of this to inline block. Okay, just convert this to inline block. So you can see now it's converted to the inline element. Okay, so that's how you can actually convert it. Now similar to this, if I want to convert this span tag to the block element, so I'll just make display as block. So you can see now the span tag would be taking whole space. Again, the like division, the background would be still the same, the space taken would be still the same, but you can see now things got to next line. So that's how you can actually say that's how block elements actually work here. Okay, so this is a very basic example. Now one more thing is, instead of this you can have one more property. So if I type here something else, so you can see we have a lot of properties here. Okay, so we have a lot of properties here which we are going to use a lot, but mostly you would be using display block, display inline block, and display flex and display grid. Okay, so these are really important properties.